So we're back in the studio. It's the end of October, and I figure I'll get back into like this classroom mode for the next couple months. We're still cleaning pools out here in Florida. It's year round, and I know Texas, Southwest, parts of the Southeast, and also a big chunk of California. They're open year round, so I'm hoping this could bring some value to some people. Topic of today: how to lower the pH in your pool. And there's 3 chemicals that you can use that'll lower the pH rather quickly. I'm going to go into them, but first I want to get into what is the problem with just imbalanced pH. What can it do to your pool? So first thing it does is it makes the chlorine pretty ineffective. For the chlorine to be effective and useful, you want your pH to be within 7.4 to 7.6 if possible. That's really a highly recommended range, but anywhere from 7.2 to 7.8 is an acceptable range, right? So you got acceptable and recommended. If you want to hit the bullseye, you need to be at 7.5, but 7.4 to 7.6 is really good. Once you get out of the 7.2 to 7.8 range and you're like at a 7 or an 8, the chlorine is very ineffective. Unbalanced pH can also damage vinyl liners if you have vinyl liners. So be careful with that. If the pH is too low, the vinyl liner can shrink. Okay, if the pH is too high, the liner can age faster. Okay, low pH is also corrosive for your pool equipment. Okay, so that's something else to take into account. Skin and eye irritation. The pH of your eye, you can look this up, it's in the low 7s. So anytime that the pH of your eye is not matching the pH of the water level, that's when you're gonna get red eyes. Okay, so even if you're within range, and I should look this up and maybe I'll just put it in 7.2 or 7.3 ish, it's in the lower 7s. That's the actual pH of your eye. So I mean, unless the water level is going to be at that exact pH, you're going to get redness in your eyes. But when it's really high, 8 or 7, that's when you're going to get the really bad skin irritations and the kids' eyes just being completely blasted because they're playing hide and seek or Marco Polo under the water and stuff like that. And then high pH causes cloudy water. High pH, especially for calcium, a lot of times the deposits, it'll come out of solution into water. So if you got a lot of scales, like marks in your pool, really hard calcium scales, that could be caused by high pH. So that's why it's very important to get pH within range. So saying that, the most common thing that I've ever used, and that's just the most widely available, is muriatic acid. And if you see that skull, this stuff fumes, really fumes. When I was doing a high number of pulls per week, 80, 90 into that range, this stuff was giving me nosebleeds. This stuff is very strong. I would highly recommend wearing a mask, gloves, thick gloves. If this does spill on your skin, dunk that part of the body into the water immediately. And if you spill any of this on your pool deck, or if you got tiles or whatever, pavers, immediately get a cup and wash it off so that it could what's the word I'm looking for, dilute this and kind of clean off. Because if this falls on top of your pool deck, it's going to start bubbling yellow. So very effective. Muriatic acid, very effective, but again, highly toxic. And this lowers the pH. Okay, so because I was starting to get these nosebleeds, I actually went to a different type of acid. Okay, sulfuric acid, and this is a no fume sulfuric acid. All right, so this doesn't fume, it doesn't bother. There's no smell, there's nothing like that. And it kind of, just replaced it. I've never used this for cleaning salt cells, okay? The manufacturer, the warehouse that I go to, says this is great for lowering pH, but it's ineffective for cleaning salt cells. So that's kind of just the message that I'm going to pass on to you. So if you're gonna clean a salt cell, you still need to get the muriatic, okay? And as a backup, something I've never used, but I have it in my truck just in case, oh, I run out of acid or anything like that. It's a dry acid, okay? This is a dry acid. This lowers pH as well. And I think it's good to have on standby. Again, I've never used it, but I said, you know what, I want to give everybody as much information as possible. You guys could dig into the web and, you know, see what people say about each one. But this is 3 effective ways of lowering the pH in your pool, okay? Remember, we got most common, muriatic acid, okay? Highly toxic, very fumes all over the place. Wear gloves, definitely wear a mask, and don't have anybody around you, especially kids or pets, when that's going on. Then you got the no fume sulfuric acid, okay? And you got the dry powder, right? No more muriatic acid. I'll leave a link for all 3 of these, you know, in the description. And if anybody has any comments, if you've used these, what you've gone through, you like this, you don't like this, hey, you read about this, you read about that, because there's some people that will refuse to use this for various reasons. I've looked that information up. But yeah, if anybody has any information to add, leave them in the comments and we can get a good discussion going. And I think for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be doing a lot of these, I call them class sessions, but I'm basically in my office. And unless something, you know, crazy happens at a pool where I'm like, hey, this will be a good class, you know, throughout the winter, I'm going to be doing a lot of these classes. And I think for the next month or 2, I'm going to be hitting the chemicals pretty hard. So right now it's, you know, 3 ways to lower the pH. Maybe next week I'm going to do, you know, how you bump up the pH when the pH is too low. But again, feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one.